Yes?
Mr. Bugloss, please.
Mr. Benjamin K. Bugloss, would that be?
Yes, I think so.
And your name is?
Simcox. Henry J. Simcox.
Suite 217.
Mr. Bugloss is expecting.
Engaged. Moment. Ah, Sir Lion.
Is it completely beyond your capabilities to deliver a simple thing like a newspaper to my room? This is my favorite hotel, and my wife and I really look forward to our London fortnights. But this is the second time this week I've had to complain.
Sir Lionel, I cannot apologize. I do assure you, tomorrow morning.
Hello? Mr. Bugloss?
Just a moment. Put it down anywhere, will you? You're not room service.
No, I'm Simcox. Henry Simcox. You asked to see me.
Mr. Simcox, this is an honor. Do sit down, please. What can I get you? As it so happens, we're just waiting on room service.
I see you've got it.
And not much, just a couple of Cokes.
No, I mean, you've got my book.
Got your book? Well, of course I've got your book. Isn't that why I asked to see you?
Do you like it?
What?
Do you really like my book?
No, I don't like it. I just don't like it.
Oh.
I love it, my dear. I actually love it. Would you care for a cigar? You know, it's a hilarious conception, you know. That guy who works in a flower shop.
It's a brewery.
Hilarious.
It's a brewery.
What?
He works in a brewery.
You sure?
Well, I wrote The Greasy Pole.
Well, so you did, my dear, so you did. And if I had my way, you'd have sole writing credit.
Mr. Bugloss, why have you asked to see me?
In this business, our names are written, Mr. Simcox, on the sands of time. But there is one project, just one, perhaps, by which someone hopes to be remembered. My dream is, Mr. Simcox, that your book should become a major motion picture.
That's marvelous.
I can give you certain things, Mr. Simcox. I will fly you to the coast. I will put a limo at your disposal. There will be a reception given in your honor. Subject to the view of my partner, my thought is that you should participate in profits. I should like to see you with a percentage, Mr. Simcox.
Oh, yes. I mean, well, so would I.
What's the title of your property again?
The Greasy Pole.
Greasy Pole.
You used to find them at fairgrounds or regattas. It's a long pole covered with grease. You try to climb up it, but of course you keep sliding down or end up in the river.
In America, they don't.
Don't what?
Have such things at fairgrounds. Greasy pole. A title like that might give serious offense to an ethnic minority. I have a great title for you, and I will present it as of now. To you as a gift, no strings attached. Our title is Indiscretions. You like that title?
I'm not entirely sure.
Another thing, my dear. How does your storyline end? Remind me.
Well, he couldn't marry the girl, of course, and live in the big house.
The big house. I like it. A cute girl, too, as I remember.
But he decides to stay on at the brewery. I suppose in some way he feels he's got to remain true to his class.
Then he's a schmuck.
Schmuck? Does that mean you don't like the ending?
My dear, I don't like it. I love it.
Do you?
I find it moving. I find it very artistic. I find it strikes a deep note of truthfulness, that a person should be true to his class, even if that makes him a bit of a schmuck. But who the hell is going to pay a whole $1 for a ticket? Plus what it costs for a simple meal out and parking the car and a babysitter nowadays to see the story of a schmuck. Huh? I think my partner would have problems with your present ending. You know, some people think solely of finance.
I like the ending.
Well, we shall meet, my dear. Meet and talk. That's the only way with an ending. Talk it out in an office. Room service. Mrs. Wickstead, this is an old friend of mine, Mr. Simcox.
Hello.
You read The Greasy Pole?
Never. Sorry.
I gave it to you to read. How come you didn't read it?
Penny?
Oh, you two will get on. I can see that. I can sense an empathy. We shall arrange lunch at the Green Giraffe. You don't care for any champagne?
Well,
I'm waiting on some fresh orange juice. Yeah, make it 3. And coffee. And I'll take one of your hot bread rolls. Just with a little butter for the sake of energy. You have some nice butter? Yeah. I have been saving the best news till last, Mr. Simcox. Henry. I have been just longing to tell you this. Peck wants to do a picture with me.
Gregory Peck?
I see Greg in Indiscretions. Gregory Peck in Indiscretions.
A greasy pole.
I think this is one that Greg Peck will really go for if we get the script right.
Mr. Buglas.
Oh, please, Penny.
Have you considered that the leading character in my book is a 23-year-old Englishman who works in a brewery in a small country town? I really don't see how he can be played by a middle-aged American actor.
Middle-aged? Well, Peck can't help that. Don't hold that against him.
And I'll never agree to changing the ending.
Middle age will come to you, my dear, eventually.
I don't think I want any part of your trade. Nothing but visual tricks. No depth, no feelings, just a few superficial snapshots of life. Nothing but glamour and emptiness, and using the whole wide world as a sort of stage set for inflated fantasies. I really don't want any part of it. Thank you very much.
There goes a young man who's absolutely hooked on the movies.
Me mum thought I was balmy. I told her I fell off a gasometer for a bet. Well, we go for a cup of tea now, lass.
Why can't you ever come out of a cinema without talking like the film? As ours a French we had after Hiroshima, Mon Amour.
All right, where do you want to go?
I don't mind, you say.
Well, wherever you want.
Anywhere I haven't chosen.
What about your coffee bar, then?
My coffee bar?
Yeah, the one you hang about in when you come up to London. You know, in the King's Road, where you meet your friends.
What, Arturo's?
Yeah, Arturo's.
Why not? I knew I'd end up deciding.
I decided.
You decided that I should decide.
Mephistopheles appeared to me in the shape of an overweight monstrosity by the name of Benjamin K. Buglas in a dressing gown. He lured me to his smart hotel. He offered me everything. Promised to deliver champagne and Greg Peck. All I had to do was to change my ending. Oh, and wanted to give it a different title. Can you believe it? He called my book a property. The Greasy Pole a property? I mean, like some little house in Hendon or something. And also, he offered me lunch with a Mrs. Wickstead, who has beautiful, frightened eyes, and is clearly looking up ways to get away from Benjamin K. Do you know what I did?
Signed the contract?
You misjudge me, Frederick. I spurned his offer. I shook the dust of Park Lane off my feet. I shall never see Los Angeles. I shall never meet Gregory Peck. Mrs. Wickstead will remain a closed book to me. I have preserved my integrity.
We're here.
Where?
Hartscombe.
What on earth was Henry talking about?
So,
Wonder where he keeps it. Come on.
Bobby Keener. Dr. Faulkner hasn't come all this way to hear you screaming.
Now, just suck this. Slowly. Here we are, to take the pain away. All right? Now better?
You didn't mind, did you, Doctor, us sending our Terry over from the garage to fetch you? I thought it best to let our Terry explain, knowing as you don't like to be bothered, not with anyone getting themselves poorly.
Most thoughtful of you, Mrs. Fawcett. You'll find a bandage in the bag there, Fred.
What has the wicked girl done?
Just sprained her ankle, Mrs. Fawcett. It's not a capital offense.
There. See what you done, you wicked girl. See what you done to bother the doctor.
What did you give Tina?
Peppermint drop. Always keep a stock in the waistcoat pocket. Yeah, a trick I learned from old Alfie Dawlish. Oh, Ted. 2 pints of Simcox, please. Wonderful doctor. He invented all sorts of imaginary diseases for the family at the manor, so he could rob them and then treat the village for nothing. His primitive version of the National Health Service.
Good, Ted.
Finally, old Lady Fanna, Nicholas's mother, sacked him for giving her an uncalled-for enema, charging her 10 quid for it. No, she didn't mind the money. She didn't feel she could look Alfie in the face again. Oh, yeah. You know what he used to call me in those days? The sorcerer's apprentice.
What made you want to be a doctor?
No choice. Couldn't pass the exams to be a vet.
Afternoon, all.
Excuse me a minute, will you?
The sorcerer's apprentice rides again.
Hello, Percy. Tom, I wanted to ask you. You're not going to be in your hut in the woods tomorrow afternoon, are you? I mean, it is the Worsfield show.
I don't know as I'll be going to the Worsfield.
Oh, yes, you are. Ivy, pint of Simcox is best for Mr. Nout.
Yes, sir.
When are you coming to shoot through our woods, Tom?
There must be some more. Perhaps in the desk. The desk Francesca looted.
Your father always looks so saintly, Henry.
Well, haven't you noticed? Dotty people always have that wonderful, serene expression.
There's only pictures of him in the marches and things.
Yes, well, there must be something of some use here somewhere.
Oh, going through the old photographs. That's Fred, dressed up for that play you gave us at Christmas. Doesn't he look splendid?
Old Fred might have had quite a future as a girl.
And that's Henry as a pirate.
He hasn't changed much, has he?
Who's that extraordinary chap holding up rabbits?
That's Tom Nout.
Tom Nout? The poacher?
A poacher, yes. Well, I suppose he must have been, although we didn't like to say so. He used to bring us rabbits sometimes, and I'd make pâté with them. But I expect he got them from our own bit of woodland.
Tom Nout? Tom Nout? Didn't he used to have that extraordinary old hut in Hanging Wood?
Did he? I may have heard something. I can't exactly remember.
He and our father looked perfectly friendly.
Well, your father always got on with everyone.
Not with Tom Nout, he didn't. He disapproved violently of Tom Nout. The only time I remember him being angry was when Fred had been hanging around his hut in the woods.
With Fred? No. No, really, I'm sure you must be mistaken.
Let me have that.
What on earth do you want it for? An old photograph?
It might just become useful evidence.
Of what on earth?
Of father's irrational prejudices. We've got to get at the truth.
Truth. I'm not sure you'd know the truth if you found it. I mean, all those films and stories and things you're always working at, they don't have much to do with the truth, do they?
I suppose I could say there's a deeper sort of truth which can only be reached by fiction.
You wouldn't say that, Henry. You wouldn't be so silly.
Henry's been to see a lawyer, Mother. So if Leslie Titmuss goes on claiming Simeon's money, well, there'll have to be a case in court.
You mean I would have to stand and answer questions in public?
It could come to that, yes.
How humiliating.
I don't know why.
To stand and talk about our family, about Simeon, in front of a lot of total strangers. To have it all written up in the paper for Bridget Bigwell to read and Grace Fanner to gloat over. It would be just like you, Henry.
Mother.
Just like those awful film stories. You sent them for us to read, and your father and I were so embarrassed. We didn't know how you could bring yourself to do such things. Unutterably vulgar.
Can't do anything about it. You're gonna keep cycling. Keep jumping. Oh. Go. Right.
You win.
I said first in.
Put the kettle on.
It's just late.
2 weeks late. Nearly 3 weeks. What would you do, Fred?
They'd have to do something, I suppose.
Something.
I mean, it'll be all right, won't it? I'm sure.
I just wondered about your plans.
Well, you know, I'm going to be one.
What exactly?
A doctor.
Oh, yeah, that.
I know it's going to take years. I mean, I'm going to have to start from scratch. We never did science properly at school. Science was always considered a bit common compared to Latin.
And now you feel a little science might come in handy.
Well, if I'm going to be a doctor.
And for that, yes.
So, see, I shan't make any money for years. I mean, I can't make any plans or anything.
I do understand. It's getting cold in here. I'm going to get dressed.
Dad.
Well, aren't you going to ask me to come in?
Of course. You don't come often.
You need a map and a compass to get here. Native bearers and someone who can speak the language.
It's only Tufnell Park.
That's very nice.
Well, you haven't seen it, have you? Since we had it decorated and everything. Peter did it.
It's very nice. A very nice job. Is this the sort of music you like?
Yes. Don't you?
Me? Of course I do.
Shall I turn it down?
My father's desk.
I told Gran. I was terribly sorry.
It's a bit late.
Oh, it couldn't go bursting in the middle of the funeral. Gran quite agreed. She's prepared to forgive us.
And your grandmother's prepared to forgive everyone, everything. It's something I'm going to have to talk her out of.
You look tired. Have a glass of wine?
What is it? Algerian cow piss, I suppose.
Not quite. Cote de Rome.
Oh, very nice, yes. Thank you very much.
Is Lonnie looking after you properly?
Lonnie's looking after me, as usual.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Was anything in the drawers when you got it?
What?
My father's desk. Was there anything in it?
No, nothing.
Do you mind if I have a look?
Nothing at all. It was empty. What are you looking for?
Anything. Anything that might spike the guns of that abominable little creep.
Which little creep is that?
Leslie Titmuss.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ah.
I knew it would be here.
What is it?
Another will.
Is this taken?
Oh, it's you.
No objection to my sitting here at all?
I don't suppose so.
You taking a set tea?
Settee? Yes, of course.
Right.
I haven't seen you since that evening.
When you fell in the river.
I was pushed.
Yes, of course. So you were.
With all a bit of fun, really. I wanted to see you to tell you I've done it.
Done what?
I'm on the committee.
The committee of what?
The Young Conservatives. You didn't think I'd join the Socialists, did you?
I don't really mind.
I'd like to go for secretary eventually. It's a big thing. You don't think your father would put a word in for me, would he?
Don't expect so.
Well, it's all happening. I've been thinking, ever since I got on the committee, I am looking forward to telling Charlotte that.
Oh, thank you.
We can't really talk here, can we?
You seem to be managing all right.
Those old girls looking at us.
Perhaps they know about your being on the committee. I mean, you must be famous.
Don't do that.
What?
Take the mickey.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Sometime, why don't we go out?
Out?
I can get access to a car.
No one to walk with, but I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. I know for certain, the one I love. I'm through with flirting, it's just you I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving, saving my love for you. Like Jack Horner in a corner. Don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. Believe me, baby, I don't stay out late, nowhere to go. I'm on my body, just me and my radio. Hey, misbehaving, saving all my love for you, and you, and you, and you.
All right, then. We'll take 5. Okay, let's have a look at this, then. I think that went on too long.
I found someone.
Yeah.
Someone a friend of mine knows.
Where? In Westfield?
You don't need to know where. Well, you need £100.
100?
Well, that's not the difficult part, is it? In £1 notes, apparently. Not too new.
I'll get it for you. Of course I'll get it.
Goodbye, Fred.
Fred knows it.
Come on, Fred.
Tommy.
Okay, pick up your stick, my son, and a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3.
Is this your car?
My father's. He lets me borrow it sometimes.
For a drive in the country with me?
He doesn't know about you.
What do you mean your father doesn't know about me?
He knows about you. Of course he does. Knows you're Nicholas's daughter. And,
Yes, but does he know that you take me out? Occasionally.
He doesn't know about that. Neither of them know.
Are you going to tell them?
Of course. Eventually.
Why not now?
Oh, they're old-fashioned.
Old-fashioned?
My mother used to work for the Strohs. She used to work in the kitchen. It made her very class-conscious.
I don't understand.
Me going out with a daughter of Rapston Manor. Here, sit on this. Don't want to spoil your soup.
What would they do if they found out?
My father would probably make a respectful call on yours and tell him to put a stop to it. He's quite capable of that.
Poor Leslie.
Oh, no, don't feel sorry for me. In the end, I'll bring them round to my way of thinking. I like your hair. Hmm? In the sunshine. You're very beautiful.
You promised you'd never say that to me again. Don't say anything.
What'd your father think about it?
My father'd have to lump it, wouldn't he?
I need £100.
And you shall have it.
Oh. Thank you very much.
Over the next 5 months at the rate of £5 a week?
No, that won't do. You see, I do need it now. In cash. You'll have it back. We've got a few gigs.
Gigs?
Jobs with the band. Oh. Dances.
I wouldn't want you to neglect your medical studies. Your frog dissecting and pill popping, bone setting. I know nothing about these mysteries. No, I wouldn't want you to have to work full-time on the kettle drums just for the sake of paying a debt to me.
Well, when I qualify. But I do need it now, in £1 notes.
You think you need it now.
I know I do.
I'm not asking you what you think you need this money for, Fred. I shall never ask you that.
Good.
It's your own life, and you must lead it as you think most fitting. If you feel that it is in any way seemly to ask me for £100.
In £1 notes. Used notes. They don't have to be new at all.
I don't know what it's for. I don't want to know. But I'll tell you this, Fred. It's not the answer. Money is never the answer. Oh, they think it is, don't they? Our new masters, they think it's the answer to everything. You've never had it so good. Put a refrigerator in every cottage in Rapston and a runabout at every door.
I'm not asking for a refrigerator, Father, am I?
Neither a borrower nor a lender be. Pretty good advice, Fred.
You're not going to give it to me.
As a matter of fact, no.
I'm underprivileged.
You?
If only I'd been a survivor of a Mongolian earthquake. Or a deprived Eskimo. You'd dole out hundreds of pounds to them at the drop of a pamphlet. Why did I have to be born in Rapston?
Used pound notes, did you say?
Yes.
I think you'll find they come just as expensive as nice, crisp, crackly new ones. I'm glad we've had this talk, Frederick. You'll feel far better when you think about it.
£100? Dear little Freddie, did you say £100?
Yes, it's not a terrifically complicated sum.
I don't know if you were listening that night in the coffee bar, young Fred, but I've saved my soul.
Oh, that?
Yes, that. That, as you so rudely dismiss it, means that I'm absolutely skint, broke, down to the bare bottom of my overdraft. I've rejected the appalling bugloss and his 30 pieces of silver.
I don't want 30 pieces of silver.
How little you understand the life of an artist. I've given up money for Lent, or at least till I finish my next novel. I've taken money off my diet sheet. I live almost entirely on cold ham and Algerian cow piss. I don't go out, Frederick. I simply never go out. Have people round, of course. It's Agnes, isn't it? What is commonly known as a bun in the oven?
Look, if you're not going to lend it to me, I'll go back.
Oh, dear little Fred. I think you ought to feel immensely proud.
I'm not, actually.
What?
I'm not in the least proud.
Well, I think you ought to have it.
What?
Yes, I think you owe it to the world. See what a small Frederick would be like. Your one small hold on posterity.
Well, of course, it's true I haven't written a novel.
Well, that's true you haven't, have you, Fred? Don't you ever think what Agnes must be feeling?
I don't think she wants it particularly.
And you?
Well, can't you see? It's impossible now that I'm going in for medicine.
But, you know, I've always thought that was remarkably selfish of you.
I mean, our father...
Go out in Rapstone.
Yes, our father allows me £5 a week. That's all I'm going to earn for years. I mean, how could we possibly... Look, I'll pay you back. You can't be short of £100. All you've got to do is write a film script.
Write a film script? Are you trying to corrupt me? Get thee behind me, Frederick. I've got a novel to finish. I know. Why don't you ask Mother?
Very funny. Mother.
Fred.
I don't suppose you've got any money.
£2, 12 and 6pence.
No, I mean, could you lend me £100?
What a silly boy you are, Frederick.
Magnus, I remember at school.
Oh, good old knuckleberries. Happy days.
They were perfectly ghastly. Anyway, you used to make a bit of money out of us, hiring out your copies of Picture Girl.
Well, I expect I made a bob or two, yes.
Got a bob or two now, have you?
I came into a bit under Grandfather Stroh's will.
Oh, so you're doing all right, one could say.
One could.
Oh, hard luck.
You know Garthwaite's in the High Street?
The old family grocers?
Full of old men in white aprons who take about an hour and a half to cut you off a slice of cheese. Well, with the help of Grandpa Strove's money, my partner and I managed to buy up the rest of their lease. We got it for peanuts, actually.
Really?
Of course, you've got to have a partner. Well, we've decided to make it into our first easy bite dining parlor. Take the old place down, build something a bit eye-catching. Do an all-in evening meal, steak or scampi and French fries, cheese board, half a bottle of Mateus Rosé, £3 all in.
So, you're going to make a lot of money.
I hope, a bob or two.
So you could afford to lend me £100. God, good shot.
Sorry, old boy, I'm fully stretched, know what I mean? Absolutely fully stretched.
Magnus, hang on.
Proposed development of Garthwaite sites, Mr. Chairman, is that a kind of cheap restaurant should be built with a facade of coloured ceramic tiling and a neon sign.
The original Garthwaite was my great-grandfather's butler. Great-grandfather Nicholas lost most of his money at poodles. He used to sit at home wagering his butler on which spider's web on the dining room window would catch the most flies. Garthwaite opened a grocery shop on his winnings.
The motion is that we should take all possible steps to preserve the character of Hartscombe and stop this development.
We are a conservative party, after all. Everyone agreed?
No.
No?
No. Through the chair, with respect, I move to oppose the motion.
Mr.
Titmus.
Yes, of course. Mr. Titmus.
Through the chair, that's wrong. Through the chair. Conservatism doesn't mean hanging on to the past, not at all costs, not just because it belonged to somebody else's butler. Through the chair. It doesn't mean preserving our country in vinegar like a hard-boiled egg or something.
What a hard-boiled egg over there?
Through the chair.
Why do you keep saying through the chair? It is penetrating me or something.
Conservatism means expanding business, looking to the future, giving private enterprise a chance. And what I say, through the chair, with great respect, is that if a young go-ahead firm has got the pure guts to open a new business in Hartscombe High Street, we should give Easy Bite all our support. Through the chair.
Doctor, is Agnes in?
London. She's gone to London.
Where in London?
I don't know. I believe she said the usual places. It seems she doesn't tell either of us everything.
Excuse me. I'm looking for a girl I was in here with a few months ago. She's called Agnes. She's got long hair, sort of auburn, reddish. She wears a duffel coat, smokes a lot. You haven't seen her, have you?
Sounds like everybody. I'll ask Arturo. Arturo!
Do you know an Agnes?
What's she look like?
Long hair, wears a duffel coat, smokes a lot.
I haven't seen her.
Arthur Nubble?
Simcox Minor.
Arthur Nubble! Haven't seen you since the good old days of knuckleberry.
Buonasera, come sta?
Oh, you're Arturo.
Yeah, nothing to it really, Simcox. Sit down.
Oh.
It's what they all want nowadays. An Italian name, a few rubber plants. You take enough black coffee to cover a postage stamp, you blow a loud hiss of steam up its arse, add a bit of froth and charge 9p.
Still at it, Nubby. The last time you did that, you got the sack.
I resigned. I did far too much education. Did you say you were looking for a girl? How about that one behind the steam pump?
Your waitress?
No, my wife. Oh, dear. You look as if you could do with a drink. Let's abandon this den of ink and candy floss. Come on, let's go to a party.
Party? Anyone I know? I think I do know.
Thought you might.
Champagne?
Hey, anything strong, guy?
Over in the corner. Everything Henry has is yours. Ah, a man without a glass.
Oh.
Are you a friend of the genius?
What genius is that?
Mr. Henry Simcox.
Oh, that genius. Yes, I'm his brother.
Well, he never told me he had a brother.
Well, as far as Henry's concerned, it's a closely guarded secret.
Well, honored to meet you, my dear. I am Benny Bugloss, and I'm overjoyed to be translating your brother's great work into a major motion picture. We shall try, Mr. Simcox, my dear, and we shall overcome.
With the greasy pole?
Ah, isn't that a wonderful title? And we're keeping it exactly as it is. Ah, drink.
You're Mephistopheles.
I told your brother I want to be absolutely true to his conception. You see, in the end, the guy decides to give up the ladyship and go back to his job in the brewery. He's true to his class, you understand? Now, some would say he's a schmuck, but I say no. He's a hero.
What about Gregory Peck?
Should we get a drink? Excuse me.
No. Somehow I don't see Peck in this. I maybe see someone more like Albert Finney, someone British, someone unknown. Look, shall I tell you something, my dear? Britain is very bankable right now. Have some.
So, you took Henry up into a high mountain.
Well, our first meeting didn't go so well, but he called me. We met again in the Ritz. We worked something out.
You showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time.
I said I'd fly him to the coast.
And said unto him, all this power I will give unto thee.
Hey, what are you talking about?
How much did you pay him?
$30,000, plus a piece of the action. Now, that may not be all the kingdoms of the world, my dear, but it certainly ain't peanuts.
No, it's enough.
Oh, this is a friend of mine, Mrs. Wickstead, Mr. Simcox.
Hello.
Absolutely loved your book.
No, that was my brother.
Hello, young Fred. We're going to the coast.